This is Dr. Charles from NexGenEsis Healthcare. This is phase 3 and 4 of knee stabilization. Now, by this point, if you have finished phase 2, I mean, something like walking, doing stairs, that should not be a problem. So this is for people who want to aim higher. Something like running, right? Because when you're running, every time your foot hits the ground, that force that comes up from the ground up to your knees is more than your body weight. So it's common sense to think that if your knees cannot handle more than your body weight, then you obviously should not be running, right? So phase 3 is going to primarily focus on squats. Now, some people give me this look when I say squats. Some people also tell me all the time, I mean, I'm whatever years old, I'm too old for this. No, we squat every day, right? Getting up off a toilet, getting off a couch, that's a squat. Right? Now, biomechanically speaking, when it comes to the knees, it is very important to pay attention to a couple of things when doing a squat. Okay. Now, the biggest thing is when I have patients squat in front of me, they tend to do one of these. So you see how the the knees are way ahead of the feet. Okay, this puts a lot of undue stress on the knees. Right? Instead, how a squat should look is like this, where the knees are directly above the feet. Now, in order for that to happen, a few things have to happen up here, okay? Number one, your low back. First of all, it's gonna kind of feel like you're sticking your butt way back, right? In order for that to happen. But in order for you to not wanting to fall backwards, a lot of people, when they try to do this, they want to fall backwards. In order for you to counterbalance that weight, the torso needs to go forward as your glutes are going backwards, right? Now, it is very important because squat is a compound movement, meaning there are lots of other joints involved. It's no longer just the knees. So in order to take care of the low back health, right? So the neutral position for your low back is like this. It has a slight curvature this way. Your low back, when you squat, should never do this as the torso goes forward. Instead, it's actually supposed to look like this. And the movement happens at the hips. An easy way to figure this out is these two bony things that you got in the front right here, put a couple of fingers right on there. So as you bend forward, right, your low back should not be doing this. Instead, the motion should be happening underneath your fingers, right, below your fingers. That's letting you know that it's actually your hip joint that's moving and not the low back flexing forward this way. So when everything put together, what you want to do is feet, face this way. What you want to do is feet shoulder width apart. You want to point the toes out slightly, okay? You're going to push the butt all the way back, right? Kind of like you're sitting down on something. But in order for me to not fall back, my torso's got to go forward without the low back bending forward this way. Okay, so let me repeat that. As the butt goes back, the torso needs to come forward to counterbalance the weight so you don't feel like you fall backwards. But as the torso goes forward, the low back should not be doing this. It should be doing this. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm here, my butt is going back, and you notice how as I am going down, my torso comes forward, all while the motion happens at the hip. My low back does not even move, right? My low back stays the same. Your pelvis is the thing that's moving. Your hip joint is the thing that's moving. My low back does not move. So butt goes back, torso comes forward, the flexion happens at the hip, and as you lower yourself, you want to keep in mind, the further you want to go back, the further the torso's got to go forward. The more flexion that's going to happen at the hip. And you notice how my knees are right above my feet. So similar to some of the things that we've gone over in the previous phases, what you want to focus on is never let the muscles rest. Take everything slow and take the muscles to fatigue. Fight through the burn and take it to fatigue. What you're focusing on is now all the muscles we have been training, the calves, the quads, and the hamstrings. There's a third muscle. It's your glutes, your big butt muscle, right? So as you're down here, you want to engage, tighten all 4 of those muscle groups and never let them go. They're tight and it's going up slow. And you notice how I don't go all the way up. That allows the muscles to rest, right? So it also helps to maybe put your arms out like this to kind of help balance the weight. But you notice how my muscles never rest. I'm never going all the way up. That allows my muscles to rest. I'm right here. I'm going through the burn. You never should feel any type of sharp or bad pain inside the knees. Burn your muscles out, go until you can't. Now, phase 4 is going to be weighted squats. Now, phase 4 never ends, right? I mean, something like strengthening, whether you have knee pain or not, whether you have healthy knees or not, everybody should do them to keep the knees healthy. It's not just you. But with phase 4, obviously, you can add as much weight as you want to make it more and more difficult. How much weight you can handle will determine how much you will be able to do when it comes to high impact activities, right? So phase 4, when you start adding weight onto these exercises, the higher the weight gets, not only will you feel stronger and no pain, in your mind, you will know when you are able to do more and more. So if you want to get back to something like running, it is also a gradual thing. You're noticing a common theme here. You never just start running, right? It starts with a fast walk. And then fast walk for quarter mile. See how you feel the next day. Fast walk for half a mile, 3/4 and a mile. When you get to a mile, you want to maybe get a little airborne, maybe like a quarter of a jog, right? Back down a quarter mile, half mile, 3/4. Speed it up a little bit, get a little bit more airborne, back down a quarter mile, half mile, so on and so forth.